is not academic teachings, not just only for the academics, but it's to do practicing. Even Buddha teaching gives this, as we say, three wisdoms. Wisdom that comes from the studying, wisdom that comes from the contemplating, wisdom that comes from practicing meditation. All that teaching tells, but ultimate goal is practices. If we started, we contemplated, then we become kind of intellectual. It won't bear the fruit exactly what we really wanted, according to teaching. If we like to become as Ling Padmasambhava, or Buddha Shakyamuni himself, or the Nagarjuna, and all these great masters, and what we talk, they practice it. They started, they contemplated, then final result of the study and contemplate is practices. When you come to the practices, and then Buddha teaching is vast. There is over 100 volumes of teachings. Sutra, Abhidharmas, Vinaya teaching, Tantra teaching, all that. But those great masters are condensed how to practice that. That is what they call practice. So it's manual, easy to practice. It's something simple. Particularly Terma teaching is very simple and essence, condensed practices. Particularly Terma teaching is mostly its teachings of the inner tantras, all inner tantras. Terma teaching has also some sutra teachings, and as Terma discovering, and as well outer tantras, but most of the time is the inner tantras. Inner tantra is then condense the essence of the Mahayoga teaching, essence of the Anu Yoga teaching, essence of the Adi Yoga teaching, or the combination of these three inner tantra teachings. That is what it is. And that also kind of summarize all that, and most of the time, Terma teachings are known as La Zo Tuksam in Tibetan. La Zo Tuksam. Lama, Tukdab, and Dzogpa, Dzogchen practice. Those are the Terma teachings. Lama means practicing of the gurus or lamas, mainly based on the Guru Padmasambhava and some other teachers. But it's practicing on the Guru Padmasambhava. It's all. And there is a variety of the teaching on the Guru Padmasambhava. Practicing Guru Padmasambhava as a wrath of deity, practicing Guru Padmasambhava peace of deity, practicing Guru Padmasambhava semi-wrath of deities, or practicing Guru Padmasambhava as the pacifying deity, or the increasing, magnetizing, subjugating, related variety of that practice, all known as also Lama practices, Lamas. And then this La Dzog. Second is Dzogchen practices. Dzog has generally is what if we translated into English, it is known as completion practices. There is two completion practices, as you all know. That is Dzogchen teaching. In the Tantra said, completion practice of the with the characteristics and completion practices of the without the characteristics. So these are all known as Dzogrim practices or the Dzogchen practice. Dzogrim. Maybe I should use Dzogrim practices. Dzogrim is a completion practice. So character with the characteristics, without the characteristics. And I'm sure you know what that character means. Means is the practicing of the such as, if I simply say, Tsa, Long, Tummo practice, those all known as characteristics of the completion practices. Tsa, Long. Tsa is channel practices. Long is wind practices. Tomo is inner heat practices. And generally all those are connected. Those are known as the characteristics of the completion practices. Why is it called characteristics? Because this is something, why is it called also completion? Because it is inherent and natural quality of our physical conditions. Everything is all here. Channel is completed, winds are completed, and essence element is completed. When we are activating that, we begin to reveal the beauty and the nature of each of those. Finally, the primordial wisdom will discover. Those are known as the completion stage practice with the characteristics. Because Tsa is a characteristic, means it has its formation, it has explanation, it has all the variety. And the long means the wind. It has also characteristics, it has a formation, it has a lot of different this, that. I mean, it's all structured in the mundane levels, And then the essence element is also characteristics. It has different shapes and forms and feelings and this and that, all combination. That is therefore this is called characteristics, or something existing. But when you use that exactly with these techniques or the according instructions, it will reveal, finally, eventually it will reveal the primordial wisdom, the clay-like luminosity qualities. That is the ultimate goal. Without the ultimate goal of the clay-like luminosity, Dzogchen Completion Practices is always in the Buddha teaching mentioned is sensation practices. It's not just really, it is good, it has a lot of benefit, but it's a sensation. Sensation means has grasping, clinging. The grasping, clinging, whether it's good or bad, ultimately it will make trouble. It is clinging. Clinging that won't go far. But for that reason, always everything, channel, wind, correct, the essence element or Terma practice have to merge to the clay-like luminosity status. Clay-like luminosity is beyond the conception. That is Dzogchen practice, Dzogchen. Then, without the characteristics practice, it is a Dzogchen practice. Dzogchen practice is beyond the conceptions, beyond the graspings. You're not practicing conception. We practice it beyond the conception. Therefore, it is called beyond the characteristics practices. So all those teachings are known as generally Dzogrim practices and particularly Dzogchen. So Terma teaching, that Dzogchen teaching, which there's so many varieties of the Dzogchen teachings. I mean, not variety, but many different lineage teachings. Lineage from the Padmasambhava, lineage from the Mamanmatara, lineage from the great translator, Nagarjuna teachings. Each of these varieties of the Terma teachings, that directly explaining of the Dzogchen teachings. So those teachings are known as the essence of the inner tantra, particularly Dzogchen teachings. That is called Dzogrim or Dzogchen teachings. And then Tuksam, so La, Zo, Tuksam, I said. Tok is known as the great wisdom mind. But that particularly related with the practicing of the Chenrezig, our Lineage practices. Chenrezig is so important in the Vajrayana teaching, or particularly in the Tibetan Buddhism, and because in the teaching said, Chenrezig practice is the essential practices because it's compassion, loving kindness. Ultimately, there is like when the greater clay-like luminosity arising as externally, that is compassion. Compassion is a part of the nature of the mind, nature of our qualities. So Chenrezig is that great compassion, appeared form of deity known as the Chenrezig. Ultimately, Chenrezig is a compassion. So there is a variety of the teaching. And then generally in the Tibetan teaching always said Tibet is very much connected to our Lineage, Chenrezig. Since the Tibetan history begins, is connected with our Lineage. I'm sure you heard, many of you heard that. No, you already know that. Tibetan race begins with the monkeys and the mountain, the female gods, goddesses or female, the cannibal goddess in the teachings. The combination of the monkey and that female demon or cannibal combination, the Tibetan race begins. And what's called this monkey is the emanation of the Chenrezig. And that female, the cannibal, was the emanation of the Taras. So always in even history, they said Tibetans are very much connected to our Lineage, Chenrezig. And then because of that, all the teachings, all that in the Tibetan, they also use it. Even the child, when the babies will begin to call the mother as Ama, at that moment they know how to chant the Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra of Avalokiteshvara. They know that. That tells how much Tibetan are connected to the Avalokiteshvaras. Therefore, then there is also a lot of variety teachings of the Chenrezig practice, known as Tukdam meaning the practice. So those are the mainly practices, and then related with the Herukas and so forth, all that is Terma teachings. So that is the one that really Terma teaching. And now Terma teaching is also, there is so many Tetons came, as I said, around 11th century, around that time, or the beginning of the 11th century, until now. So many great Tetons. What are those Tetons generally? Tetons are they are the emanation of the 25 disciples from Padmasambhava or 80 Mahasiddhas of the Yerba regions, or many other those great enlightened beings. And a simple way to, in the Sutra level, if we say, they are great Bodhisattva and Mahasattvas. They emanated. They had, in a way, if I say common language, they had within Guru Padmasambhava, with Ichin Soja, with Khenpo, this all great Mahas had mutual agreement. Meant they will take the reincarnation, emanation again and again in order to benefit to all the living beings, and particularly to reveal these Terma teachings. And that I just mentioned yesterday, that the designated and prophesied, those lineages. So there is variety of Tetons came. Why that many Tetons need to come? In the teaching said, what the Guru Padmasambhava said in the teaching said, because Tetons are very, Terma teachings and Tetons are very important, because time is changing. Generation after generation, time is changing. Therefore, human mentality is changing, situation is changing, circumstances are changing. Therefore, always individuals are looking something new things. Even the reality is the same teaching, but they are looking new things. For that reason, I, Guru Padmasambhava, hearing many Terma teachings. And then together with it, also those teachings are always in the teaching said, they are so powerful, so important, beneficial to remove the disturbances of those different generations and balance the elements and reactivating the strength and the balance, the energy of the earth and the elements, and remove the wars and the famines and the disease and so forth. Those reasons, then many Tetons came, revealed one after another, those great Terma teachings, one after another. So today we are going to the Tetum. When we are talking at the Tetum, we are talking about the history, how this takes place, how that happened, and how that. This history of the Tetum teaching, as I said yesterday, in one way they're so kind of what simple and ordinary and down to the like just regular, really nothing any big things, very simple. But the other side is amazing, marvelous, unbelievable, incredible. I mean, when you read or when you look this, we go through this, the histories one after another, it's really marvelous. So it's a combination of that. That means in the spiritual level, this individualist where they perform is totally beyond their mind. It's just beyond the mind. But in the kind of mundane level, in the world level, they are so down to the earth, so simple, so humble, so following the exact system of the way things should be done in the mundane worlds. So this is, in a way, when they reveal their teachings, this is also in a way combination with that. Perform the level of the mundane kind of way things should be done, and at the same time, addition with the power of the realization in incredible, unbelievable activities. So now we go through again, one more time about the Techi Rena Nampa. We say that how he